Welcome back to the Chester Centurions podcast, the show where we explore the stories, lessons and strategies of business leaders driving success across Chester and the wider region. I'm your host, Alan Bark, and today I'm joined by Andrew Plews, Managing Director of Navigate IT, a boutique IT services company based just outside Chester. For 15 years, Andrew and his team have acted as the virtual IT department for small and medium-sized companies across Cheshire, North Wales and the Northwest, from cybersecurity and cloud systems to hardware, software and the day-to-day support you require to run your business. Navigate IT helps organisations stay secure, efficient and ready for the future. In this episode, Andrew shares what it really takes to start and grow a business in such a fast-changing sector, why relationships and referrals have been the backbone of his success, and some powerful lessons for entrepreneurs, including knowing when to say no, avoiding the trap of overtrading, and the importance of just getting started. This is a conversation packed with honesty, insight, and some brilliant analogies, including why running a business can feel like juggling chainsaws and kittens. So let's dive in. Andrew, welcome to the Chester Centurion podcast.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. Listen, before we get started today, Andrew, I'd love to know a little bit more about Navigate IT. Tell us a bit about the business.
I can give you a very, very short potted history. We're now in our 15th year. We're based over in Breton, so we're just outside of Chester, and we're basically quite a boutique IT services company. I kind of like to think of us. So we provide a broad range of IT services for small businesses, primarily in Chester, North Wales, and the northwest of England, really. So, and we mainly focus on businesses who don't employ their own IT professionals, but they still need to get to, a good professional level of IT support. So they engage with us. We're their more or less their virtual IT department, from managing the software, subscriptions and hardware procurement, and advising them on how best to get the most out of their IT spend, and hopefully support their business going forward through with the underpinning of IT systems, which whatever business you are in, unfortunately or fortunately, depending where you are, IT is there.
It's not
Resistance
going away,
is futile.
Resistance is definitely not going away. And
yeah.
Do you see a rise in like cybersecurity, the need for cybersecurity? Is that something that you cover?
Oh, very much so. My view of cybersecurity, and particularly in our industry as a value-added reseller and as a managed service provider, the main game in town, as they'd say, is security. I appreciate it. Recently, we've seen it on the news recently. I think on the retail ones, I think M&S and Co-op, cyber breaches, and they're the ones which make the headline news. But there's constantly smaller businesses getting attacked and everything like that. So from our end, our key focus, very much over the last couple of years and going forward, even more so, and especially now as everyone is pretty much in the cloud with typically Microsoft 365, we've moved our focus onto managing their tenant and minimizing the risk to their business. I mean, the number of horror stories I've heard from our Microsoft distributor, how some other managed service providers have been impacted through a breach, it's basically crippled them. They've gone under. So,
wow.
Yeah.
It's definitely topical at the moment, and I echo that it's not just big businesses; it's the SME market as well that is getting attacked more and more
very
often
much so.
every single day.
We will have clients who they're putting in tenders or responding to tenders, and it will be a pre-req. Do you have Cyber Essentials or Cyber Essentials Plus? And in order to obtain those accreditations, your systems need to be at a certain level, and and us as well as the managed providing these services, ours has to be. There'll be questions like, is your IT support company or any third parties, are they Cyber Essentials accredited? And yes, we are, and we need to be. So yeah,
Good to know. Thank you for that.
that's okay.
So what motivated you? You've been going 15 years now. What motivated you to start your own business? And what was the driving force behind the decision to take on this entrepreneurial role?
Well, I think that the seed was planted a bit longer than 15 years ago. It's probably 2007, 2008, and I was working for a IT services company up in Runcorn. I was very happy there, and I didn't have any particular issue with the way that things were being run. I was very much part of the management team, and everything was going. I was happy, enjoyed working with all the directors and all the senior management, and that was up until a point when they were getting acquired. They were getting acquired by a company I'd actually worked for previously, so which wasn't. It was what it was. I didn't have too much issue with the other company, but I just thought it's a bit of a step backwards. So I had a brief moment. I considered acquiring the company I was working for. So I signed up the NDAs and discussed it with family and friends. Anyway, at the end of the day, it didn't come to anything, but it had clearly, let's say, a small fire which kind of burnt a bit brighter over the years to come. And I'd spoken to friends and family, and a lot of them kind of encouraged me to, there's no reason why you couldn't do it or set up on your own. So a few years later, I was in a situation. I wanted to see one of my clients, and he'd set up on his own as an IT consultancy, and he's looking to expand. And I'd gone through, just around about that time, I'd gone through various other variations of looking to set up a company with some of the engineers I'd already worked with. Again, all the ideas are there, but it never really took to fruition. But anyhow, I was speaking to this client of mine. He'd set up on his own, and he was kind of working for his previous employer. And he was looking to expand the company, and that's when I kind of came along as managing director. My background initially was working for my father's accounting practice in Chester, so I had a good understanding of the numbers, so to speak, or at least basic bookkeeping. And I knew where the debits were and the credits were, and I'd taken on the sales role as well for the previous sort of 10 years. So I sort of jack of all trades to a certain extent. So I came in as MD, just over 15 years ago, and then the dynamics of the kind of directors changed a little bit. So anyhow, since then, pretty much it was double-digit growth for the first good several years, and we are where we are. So
very good, excellent.
Yeah.
And going back to that day where you made the decision, what was going through your mind? What were you feeling at that point? I think it's always interesting to
be honest. I was going to are they going to pay me my commissions at the
the previous company?
Yeah. So no, I remember it was just before I turned. I think just before I turned 40. I think my birthday was on the Monday, and I handed my notice in on the Friday. I really can't remember, to be honest. There was a lot going on because I'd already had the sort of business plan pretty well documented, so I kind of knew what I wanted to do. I knew the new company who had acquired us. I knew they weren't particularly interested in the client base I enjoyed working with, which was small SMEs. A lot of kind of larger IT companies. It's 250 users plus. That's what they're aiming for, and my view was to always kind of go for the not the smaller ones. They all need a bit of love too. So I was quite happy doing that.
It sounds like you did a lot of planning, a lot of preparation, and you just worked the plan. And I think that's quite interesting because a lot of business owners that start their own business, they go through a period of, I guess, fear and worry and anxiety and excitement. Of course, you're starting your own business, but there's always this fear and anxiety. But the fact that you can't remember feeling like that suggests to me that you had a plan, and I agree. All you had to do was work the plan.
There was a plan. Whether we put it into place is another thing. But it did give me a bit of security that there was a plan, and clearly, those three of us when we first started,
Yeah.
and we've all come into it for different reasons, and we all, but there was the plan, and let's be honest, we stuck to it pretty much where we could, and it was a good plan. Still is. I kind of still refer to it when I need to sort of refresh.
Very good.
What am I doing here? Just kind of go back
Yeah,
to
very good.
go back to the initial
plan.
Yeah.
What would you say some of the sort of common misconceptions about running a business are, and how do you go about addressing them?
Where to start? I should tell you where. I even made some notes because I kind of thought, well, I think the big one for me is the misconception is being your own boss, I'll have more free time.
Yeah.
That was a lie. I don't know who ever thought that, but that's my personal experience. I'm sure some people have been fortunate enough, and they have enabled themselves to have more free time. Not for me, unfortunately. I haven't been particularly successful in that in the initial years, anyway. At least, so yeah.
I think that's a pretty common misconception: is you're going to have all this free time. I think you've got choice over your time, but you tend to work more hours per week.
It's true. You have more choice over your time, and I must admit, in the early days, my choice was to do more work.
Yeah.
So one of my co-directors, he was very disciplined, and that he would always take whatever holidays, and I envy him that he was able to do that. And I was like, I probably exaggerate a little bit, but I did have time off, but there wasn't anything in particular. I would work at the office, go home, log in, and I felt if I didn't have anything planned, I should be working. So, but again, let me reiterate that was in the early days, and my train of thought would be, and my actions are different to these days. And I think the other thing is, apart from the other misconception, being the boss is not an easy task. Hasn't been particularly for me. Everyone thinks, oh, it's easy. Well, it's not really. You got 100. You're spinning plates, keepy uppy, juggling all at the same time, and juggling with chainsaws and kittens as well. So it's all there's a lot to take on, because we are a very, very small company, and I do wear lots of different hats, from the sales or the account management to the purchasing to the basic accounts payable, accounts receivable. There's a lot of stuff going on. So yeah, probably my own worst enemy, but there we go.
No, I like it. I'm almost scared to ask you this next question now, Andrew, but it's about work-life balance, and you've kind of covered it off already. But how do you maintain a work-life balance? So if you go back 15 years, what you're saying is, you were working, you were coming home, you were logging back on, you were continuing to work. You said it's not like that now. So what would you say your personal rituals or habits that you've built up over that time to keep you motivated?
More recently, I treat kind of non-work stuff. I will put it in my own diary.
Very good.
That's what I'm doing. It's pretty much non-negotiable. I will book. I will try and spend. Let's say on a Sunday, I'll kind of plan as well as my work diary. I will try and plan my out of work diary as well. So, I know what day I'll be going to the cinema. If I'm going to the cinema, I know what day I'm going to the pub. And I'm sure it drives people up the wall when I go, well, what a, so I almost have to plan things as if they were meetings in an evening. Like let's say I'll be going out this evening. Well, that's booked in. That's not changing. So relatively new change, but it seems to be working. I've started going to the gym and stuff like that, and looking after myself a little bit better. I think I'll be scaring people off wanting to set up on their own at this rate. Yeah.
No, I think that there's some really good stuff there. I mean, the non-negotiable default diary is absolutely gold dust. Barack Obama lived his life in 15-minute slots. And having that discipline to be able to do that. And I've heard stories about the editor of the New York Times. I've got a story about someone going to visit him, and he lived in 15-minute slots as well.
Yeah, I'm not quite 15-minute slots, but it's definitely list-based, and it is definitely certain section at a time. So
Really successful people also plan their weekends so they get the most out of their weekends, visiting friends, doing this, doing that, rather than just vegging in front of the television. You work your time effectively and get the best out of it.
yeah, I try to. I'm not a big telly watcher, so
No,
no,
no.
stare at enough screens during the day. So, but yeah, it's important to get that balance, or especially kind of find time for yourself as well, without getting too tree huggery sort of thing. But yeah, you need to look after yourself as much as
Without a
anything
doubt.
else. Yeah.
So the next subject really I want to talk about is, we're in this period where business is evolving probably faster than we've ever seen it evolve. How do you stay adaptable and open to change? And are there any specific strategies that you use to remain innovative? And I'm scared to use the AI word here. How's that impacting your industry, Andrew?
I don't. As far as Navigate IT go, I don't think it's going to have a huge impact in terms of the way we'll be using it as almost as an add-on to the for the service desk technicians to help customers. I think larger businesses, I can see it being they'll be gutted with on staff headcount and things like that. I think the changes are going to come through. A lot of, I would suspect, you won't even know you're chatting to an AI bot. It'll be quite scary, really. That's the way it's going.
And what about your business then? How do you see yourself staying adaptable as Navigate IT?
I think we will encourage the adoption of things like AI tools. For us as a Microsoft partner, it's very much going to be, say, Microsoft Copilot. So hopefully encourage our own client base to adopt the AI tools and allow it to help their businesses grow. I think from our end, we've also been able to look after people's legacy systems. Not all of our clients have embraced the most cutting edge technology. They just want things to work, So it'll probably be a bit of both, looking after the older systems and encouraging adoption of the new. But it's really with Microsoft 365 and all their bolt-ons. It's really the way I see it going. Whatever battle there was, Microsoft have won it.
Really?
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, I've heard some of the new tools are incredible.
Well, they usually just acquire other people's tools and then they don't know what to do with it, rebadge it, and the way they go. But
no, fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, we have quite a sizable Microsoft base at the moment for a small business like ours, and that will just grow and grow, really. And Microsoft will just add more and more tools. So, I can't remember what was the original question. How we adapt to change, was it?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
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 I think the best answer I can give to that on how is talking to our customers.
Okay.
Understanding what our clients, I've always said to them is, look, the purpose of their engagement with Navigate IT is for us to understand how they want to get from point A to point B, and using IT to support that journey. So, we don't specialize in any particular markets, because we've always taken the view every business these days has a computer or a need for IT. So each of their journeys are different of where they want to go to. If we can help them to achieve their objectives with IT, we're only going to do that by consistently talking to them. We've got a great team of techies here, and and our clients respond well to them, and hopefully we're helping deliver kind of the solutions they need to go where they want to go. And we look after a lot of small businesses, and I've always been aware for as many years I've been in IT that a lot of smaller clients, they do need a lot more hand-holding kind of pre and post sale. And I know, having worked for larger resellers, we perhaps weren't always afforded that sort of luxury of hand-holding smaller customers like that, because at the end of the day, they're commercial organisations, and they want to close the deal, so to speak. But I always believed the hand-holding pre and post sales for these smaller clients, your reward is customer loyalty.
Yeah, relationship is everything, isn't it? Yeah. Totally agree, 100%. So, is there any sort of future plans for the business that you'd like to share with us? What do you envisage the next chapter of your journey?
Well, I think since lockdowns and stuff like that, it definitely impacted my way of forecasting kind of pipeline business and thinking about what the future is for the business, because that was very much that period, because it's very much out of our hands, because we didn't know how lockdown and all this was going to impact our own clients. The future of Navigate was in that, if all of our big clients suddenly went pop, well, that's it. So it kind of made me realise that things that could be. We're quite fortunate that all of our clients kind of got through it, and during that time, say 2021, we had quite a good year. But that was a one-off, because suddenly we had hundreds and hundreds of end users who all wanted to work from home and needed a laptop. So it was quite a busy time for us. But it did make me realise that, well, if I've always tried to have a client base, so all our eggs are over multiple baskets, rather than having a handful of clients, and then if one of those goes, you're all a bit stuffed, aren't you? Fortunately, all of our clients made it through, but I did get into a mindset of always looking at the business in terms of almost like a rolling 3 months, because the responsibility you have as a boss or a company owner and the managing director, not just paying my own bills I've got to worry about. There's a load of staff here who are kind of reliant on making sure myself and the co-director here that the business is functioning enough to pay. We got lots, not just my mortgage got to pay for it. We're paying for everyone else's, really. So, and I did feel quite responsibility for that during kind of those COVID years, because no one really knew what was going on. But it did get me into mentality. Well, if we didn't have, fortunately, we pretty much made a profit every month I've been involved here. So it's 15 years worth of monthly profits. But I was getting in the mindset, well, if we do make a loss, okay, 1 month's fine, 2 months, 3 months maybe. If you're making a loss on month 4, well, you got a bit of a problem here. So I kind of made sure we had enough cash to cover everything for, 3 to 4 months for the monthly outgoings and stuff like that, just in case. So I probably got into bunker mentality a little bit, just kind of making sure, well, let's make sure we've got a good secure platform here, not just for myself and the co-director, but for all the staff as well, because at the end of the day, they're stakeholders in it as much as me and my technical director work wife.
I do think that's really healthy. I call it a war chest. Right?
Yeah.
I think every business should have a war chest, 3 to 6 months of
very much so
of fixed costs. It's very healthy, especially after COVID. I think you're right. The mindset has changed.
Yeah. And I always had it in my mind that you look at these things on a kind of 3 to 6 month basis, right from the early days. But it did bring it sharply into focus during the lockdown, because it was. We're powerless to do anything. We could do Teams calls. That was about it. We can, So some engineers could go to site, maybe, but it's like, okay, what do we do here?
It's mad, isn't it? It was 5 years ago, wasn't it? 5 years ago now, and
I had to live in the office for a week at one point. It's on self-isolation.
You had to live for the week.
To be honest, it kind of became more of a man cave rather than a office.
I love the thought of that. That's pretty cool, Andrew. Listen, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. I've got one more question for you, though.
Okay.
And it is a big one. But thank you so much for being on the podcast. But let's finish on what advice would you offer to aspiring entrepreneurs who are just starting their journey? And I want your top 3, Andrew, if we can.
Dear me,
maybe,
I'm hoping I
maybe
made notes on this one.
maybe a business, or well, I think you've answered a couple of them already, but maybe someone facing challenges in their business, and what would you say your top three are? We'll go for three. We don't have to get three, but let's
Hang
go.
on. Okay. My advice to anyone wanting to start out is start up as soon as possible on the base, even if your kind of service or product isn't 100% ready, act quickly rather than sitting around trying to perfect the perfect service or product.
Yeah,
That
love
would
it.
be, yeah, just kind of go for it. I did make some kind of notes on this, so I'll just try and dig them out rather than tripping over my own words.
So that I think that first point, just to allow you time to look at your notes there, Andrew. That first point is the first habit on the 7 habits of highly effective people. The first habit is just get started.
Yeah,
And I
was
think
that
you're
Covey,
absolutely right.
that book?
Yeah, Stephen
Yeah, I
Covey.
did that. God, that's 20 odd. 7 habits of effective people, or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's probably where I got it from.
Well, the first habit is just get started.
Yeah.
Just get started, and then the second one is start with the end in mind, of course. But just get started is the first habit, and I think that's a great takeaway for
Yeah.
anybody watching this.
Yeah. I think it's very easy to keep talking and talking and nothing happening.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, I would think you want another 2 from me.
Only if you've got.
Yeah, I think I probably covered it a lot before. It's like speak to your customers, stay connected to your customers, and not just so much your customers, but you will create your own little ecosystem with your own business, and made up of your clients, fulfillment partners, if you're using any for subcontracting stuff out, your distributors and your manufacturers, and that whole keep in contact with them.
I love it.
I give you an example of why I've found it exceptionally good. I'd say 99%, I could even go higher than that, of our new business has all come from referrals.
Really?
Yeah, we don't have historically nothing on, particularly on marketing spend. I'm not advocating for it. I'm just, we've been blessed that the majority has come through new business, come through referrals. So we haven't had to do a lot of the Google ads and stuff like that. So, and again, I think that's the success of that is from a relationship sort of based selling. I've told the guys here now, out of everyone here at Navigate, there's 2 of us who aren't techies. Everyone else is a techie, but I do say to them, we're all in sales.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just because, and by that I mean, well, each time you're out with a client, either on the phone, if you're doing a service call, you're representing the company. Mm-hmm. And the techies here, the engineers, they are the best salespeople.
Of course they are.
Yeah.
This is a massive lesson as well, Andrew. Speak to your customers. Relationships matter.
Yeah.
And the proof in the pudding is 99% of your business comes from referrals.
I would think, yeah, a lot of the client, the initial client uptake, it was through existing relationships. My technical director had worked beforehand, and where I'd worked as a account manager for a value-added reseller. So there were some existing relationships there, but the majority have come through referrals, through fulfillment partners, or from existing client base. And you know, I'm forever grateful that our clients consistently and constantly recommend us.
Well, referrals are built on trust. If I was to refer someone into you, I would have to feel a deep level of trust that you're going to look after them, because it's my reputation on the line at that point.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's a real testament to Navigate IT, to be honest, Andrew, and the trust that your clients put in you. 99% of your business from referrals is exceptional. It's really good to hear that.
I generally feel it's probably a little bit higher than 99, because I can't think of, we do some sponsorship events and some other bits and bobs, but generally there's no, I haven't done any cold calling
ever.
I haven't, not for a long time.
Really? So, your referral, do you have a referral strategy? do you deliberately ask for referrals, or do they just come to you?
No, they just come. I considered it. It was a good while back of putting some referral scheme together and then asking clients. And then I thought, well, yeah, I didn't want to feel obliged to, you know. It just comes organically. It's just I don't know, just. And I think some people don't like. Well, I'm getting 50 quid, or I'm getting this knocked off my bill if I do a referral. I don't know. But anyway, I never put anything in place. I was just happy with it.
Very good.
Coming in when they come in. But the reality is, a small business. If I'd gone through a big, let's say, a referral scheme mixed with a more traditional marketing scheme, and it was successful, and we were taking on lots of new clients, you could find yourself. This is probably the last piece of advice: is don't be overtrading. That's the
don't be overtrading.
Well, very much so. If we had X number of new clients coming in, it would be very stressful. Just a question of not just onboarding new clients, but the onboarding new staff, get everyone else involved. At the same time, keeping existing clients, ones who've been with you from day one, making sure they're getting the same levels of service. So,
Yeah, there's a risk there, isn't there? If you're overtrading, your service levels drop, your reputation starts to diminish.
Yeah, and to be honest, in the earlier days, I mean, you have to learn when to say no. We had opportunities or kind of referrals or being passed a lead or whatever. We go in, and we're thinking, okay, it's not our kind of core business, or they've got some things which are a bit out of our norm. They want weekend cover, or they want out of hours cover. Well, we don't really do that, or there's something which we don't. And in the early days, we kind of we'd bend over to accommodate every request, and it got to the point it's ridiculous. So sometimes you have to just say a firm no, and be prepared to walk away through some of the business. In fact, that happened with one of our largest clients. They had a new chief technical officer in. Anyhow, we'd help him put a tender document together, so we were sort of writing our own suicide note at the time, really. But anyway, we helped him, and they asked us to submit a response to the tender document. And I looked through it all, and again, there are quite a lot of things on there, and I just put no. We're not bidding on it, even though we're the incumbent and had been for I don't know how long, 7 or 8 years anyway. And as the incumbent, you usually think, well, it's you're the obvious, you're in the top of the podium to start off with. Yeah. Anyhow, I was quite happy to walk away from it, mainly because our offerings didn't match exactly what he wanted to do, and I think they were taken aback a bit like that. But the end of the story is he got fired, and we retained the contract for many a year. So. But
wow.
Yeah, but at the time it was a big thing for me and the co-director Paul, technical director. It was quite a big decision for us to make because this is one of our biggest clients here, and we're basically saying thanks but no thanks. Anyhow,
yeah, that took guts. I think you've given me 4. You said I'm not
well,
sure.
maths never was my strong point, I must admit.
And so you've overtraded. No, listen, they're absolutely brilliant. Just get started. Speak to your customers because relationships matter. Don't be overtrading because you don't want to affect your service levels, and know when to say no. Incredible takeaways for anybody watching the podcast. My biggest takeaway, and I've never heard it before, but it's definitely, I've written it down here, so it now belongs to me. I'm going to use this in the future now, Andrew. Being a business owner is like juggling with chainsaws and kittens. I absolutely love that.
Yes, well, there we go.
Because I've got an image in my head now, and you're 100% right. You're juggling with chainsaws and kittens. But on that note, thank you so much for being on today. I really appreciate it, Andrew, and let's catch up over a coffee sometime.
Lovely. I look forward to that referral.
Thank you. Cheers,
All
Andrew.
the best. Yeah. Cheers. Thank you.